Talk to me about, for anybody that doesn't know, kind of the role of director of photography and how it differs from other camera departments.
Yeah. So a director of photography is essentially you're trying to interpret the director's vision onto the screen via lighting, composition, camera, and lenses and movement. The very last drone job I did was a very good way to go out, and it was the opening shot of West Side Story with Steven Spielberg. So that was, that
Yeah,
was a very good,
that's
end my
a
drone.
resume taker for sure. I'm sure too, like on a Spielberg set, it's just constant film school.
So the big question is this: how are creators like us, who aren't built for the 9 to 5, for the people who put their passion before them being comfortable, how do we turn that passion into a living that pays the bills and a life that we love? That is the question. This podcast will give you the answers. My name is Noah Mittman, and welcome to Conversations with Creators.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Creators. I am here with my buddy Josh Hill, a DP, director of photography extraordinaire. Are you based in LA?
I am, yeah,
You
yeah,
are.
in Hollywood, yeah,
In Hollywood. We got Mr. Hollywood over here.
in the heart of it, man. Yeah,
Thanks for being on the show, man.
dude, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out. It's been forever since we've
It
actually,
has.
caught up and not talked about parkour, but
I
talked
was gonna
about what we
say,
do.
me and Josh came up in the parkour scene, and he's now moved on to a whole bunch of stuff. Tell me about your kind of journey into cinematography and even how you got started as a director of photography.
Yeah, yeah. So as you know, I did parkour with you. I guess it's been like 10 plus years now.
Yeah,
And me and Josh Yaden like started our little YouTube channel, and he had a little Canon T2i and a glide cam, much like yourself. And that's, kind of how I got into just any interest at all in filming, was just to film clips of us and make YouTube videos. So,
yeah,
um, yeah. And so I kind of started with that. And then that led to then helping out another fellow stuntman friend of ours, Brady Romberg, to do some like fight previz work. So filming like, the fight scenes in the gym that would then lead to, the directors of TV shows and movies looking at those fight scenes and how they're going to choreograph the camera to the fights in those shows.
yeah. So you
So I
said
did a little bit of that. Yeah. So I did some of that. And then that led to him asking me to be the second unit DP on Boone the Bounty Hunter, which is the feature that he produced with John Morrison. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I could like move the camera well, and I could keep up with the stunts and like
yeah,
learn, where the camera position would be. But I had no idea lighting wise what the heck I was doing.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, so he paired me up with like a established gaffer, and I got to kind of shadow the first unit DP, and I just like really fell in love with the process of lighting and what it could do to an image. And at this point, I was like only solely based on camera movement, right? So
yeah. Right,
that's all I really knew. But once my eyes were kind of open to the world of lighting and like the combination of lighting and composition, I kind of just slowly started to spend more time learning about that. And I was still doing stunts here and there, but I eventually got injured and couldn't work. And so I needed some income to happen. So I was like, all right, I'm going to learn this camera thing. I'm going to go behind the camera. I'm going to learn how to do this. So I started as an AC. I would pull focus, keep the camera gear organized, and I would just pick up jobs on Craigslist and with my buddies, like from stunts and stuff like that, the connections I made through that.
yeah,
And then that led into aerial cinematography, like drone camera operating. And that kind of took me down an interesting path where I got to work on some pretty big features and television shows as an aerial camera operator. And I did that for 2 or I guess 3 or 4 years while I was slowly kind of building my resume as a DP and learning the
Was
ropes.
that FPV or was it just kind of
No.
drone stuff?
Yeah, so it was the heavy lift drone setup and also Inspired 2 work. So we flew Alexa minis on, big
Nice.
octocop. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, I did stuff for like True Detective. I worked on the feature Green Book. I did the very last drone job I did was a very good way to go out, and it was the opening shot of West Side Story with Steven Spielberg. So that was
Yeah,
that was a very good.
that's
And my
a resume taker for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So after that, I said, okay, I can't go any more than this on the drone where I'm going to, go full time into DPing and try my hand at that. And, started in small little commercial, web content, branded documentaries. And then the last 3 years, I've just kind of found myself in this, high end music video world and commercials. And I also shot a feature now. So
Nice.
that's the story.
God damn, man. That's a hell of a ride. And this is all how long? So how many years did that kind of from ACing to where you are now? How many years has that been?
8 years.
Wow. That's fast, dude.
Yeah. 8 years.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
And there's still so much more to learn.
Oh yeah, constantly. Especially, I mean, man, you've been on some, I'm sure too, like on the, a Spielberg set, it's just constant film school.
Yeah, absolutely. I kept my eyes wide open on that and my ears peeled to the ground and trying to overhear conversations. And we were on that set for 14 days and we would do the exact same shot every day, but Spielberg would change something and bring us back the next day. He just had,
that makes sense.
It's like it's an unlimited budget. So it would be like, we would do a shot and he'd be like, oh, I want that picture car to be a little more maroon. We're going to paint it, come back tomorrow and we'll do it again. Or like the clouds weren't in the right position. Like, let's wait for the sun to peek through after the rain. So we get this like, more crisp sky.
I mean, it's the opening shot. It's got to be.
Yeah. It was his baby. So that was
That's crazy. How many times did you actually shoot it?
Probably 25 times or something like that. Yeah, and you used it once, and it's a combination of a helicopter shot to a drone shot to a techno crane shot. So it's all stitched together. So it had to be seamless and perfect. But I got to watch Janusz Kaminski light for 14 days and work with his gaffer.
Yeah,
and it was absolutely incredible experience.
I bet.
It taught me a ton.
Yeah, that's so sick. So talk to me about, for anybody that doesn't know, kind of the role of director of photography and how it differs from other camera departments.
Yeah. So a director of photography is essentially you're trying to interpret the director's vision onto the screen via lighting, composition, camera, and lenses and movement. So the job varies depending on the director that I'm working with. Some directors are more camera and lens focused. Some, they understand the kind of tone and the lighting that they want for the scene, and they, want you to kind of be the guiding force in the camera department and where it's going to be placed and what lenses to use. But for me personally, I feel like most of the directors I work with they know where they want the camera primarily. There's some, it's open to discussion and collaboration, but they really rely on me for the lighting and the tone of the project. So trying to get out of their head what they really want to be on screen. We share reference images together and, I formulate a plan based on the location and the wardrobe and the time of day to create this look for the project. So, I'm in charge of the full lighting department. I'm in charge of the full camera department, and I'm just trying to make a cohesive, look. Based on what the story is. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, well, I mean, for kind of setting the mood and like painting with the light, what is your like, even if it's not on set, what's your creative process for like putting that together?
Yeah. I feel like with like all these questions, I'm always gonna say like it depends, because it always just depends.
Yeah, it's
The project, right?
creative work.
And like that's where, yeah, and like that's where we have to be versatile and like understand that every project requires something a little bit different. But for me personally, the most
When we were talking about the Spielberg one, let's talk about. Oh, I guess you're doing drone on that. So let's talk
yeah,
about
no,
like
that's
your a DP project. Yeah,
yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can be general, but then we can also go into a specific project. But in general, it always starts with looking at a treatment, looking at the mood board, creating a visual language for the project, whether that be, looking at painting references, looking at photography, looking at other films, looking at, pop art or anything, going to a museum and, finding the lighting that they use in picture paintings and stuff like that. So first
does the
establishing
director kind of bring that to you, or are you in charge of kind of
it's a
coming up?
collaborative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a collaborative experience. Like he'll have like a cinematography page in the treatment,
Okay.
and then I'll look at those references and then kind of build on that. Like a lot of times I'll use shot. Yeah, and I'll make another deck where it's like, okay, what did you specifically like about this reference? Is it the lenses? Is it the texture? Is it the lighting on their face? Is it the lighting in the background? Like let's get specific on what we like about each thing, and then we can formulate, a full picture of what is inspiring us for this project. So
yeah. And I talked over to you a sec. What was the resource that you used to get some of those reference shots?
Shot deck.
Shot deck. Yeah, I've heard of that a couple times.
Yeah, it was created by Lawrence Shear, who is the DP on Joker, and he wanted to create a reference library where you can, it's driven by search keywords, so you can type in moonlight, anamorphic, and single close up. You put the time of day, whatever you want, and then it will generate all the images that match those search words.
That's badass. That's a really cool resource.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's I know we have some kind of projects that we want to talk about, and we're going to share a little bit. I'd love to kind of dive into specifics of some stuff that you're proud of.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look at the Aniko video. It's the song Jericho by Aniko, and here, if you want, I guess, do you want me to share my screen and I could pull up some?
Yeah, let's do it. Anybody that is just listening to this, you will get much more out of this if you watch it on YouTube. Just say it.
Yeah. So, let me see. Share.
And I'll put the YouTube link in the show notes as well.
Great. So I'm clicking share, but there's like a little like warning sign. Okay.
Yeah, it should be. There we go.
Security preferences.
Have you shared on Zoom yet, or is it?
I have not. No, normally I do. Yeah. But in the meantime, I can like kind of tell you where this job came about and how it came into my lap. So basically, it's a music video. It was a really, really popular song on TikTok, and they wanted to create this like futuristic dystopian world where she essentially was going on this journey to find, her alter self and transcending into, a one, like becoming one, as she's like kind of battling through her alternate personas. So the director, her name is Anastasia Delmark, and she basically created this world and pitched to shoot it on an XR volume, because really would be the only way to do this.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the set. If anybody's listening doesn't know what an XR volume is, basically if you've seen Mandalorian, that's how they filmed it. It's on a massive LED screen that tracks your camera real time to the environment that's on the LED wall. So wherever you point the camera and look, it has Genlock, and it's basically the screen is moving with your camera, and it's creating parallax, and the assets are moving so that you can frame, wherever you want in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
so
the most
it's
cutting
really
edge technology that exists right now. It's so awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And we had to kind of do this for this concept because it's just absolutely like out of this world. It doesn't exist. Like these locations don't exist in the real world. So
Yeah.
she wanted
Especially
this
for a
dystopian.
music video too, where it's like you don't need to have, the crazy budget for a set. You can just create whatever you want in VFX.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So normally I do a ton of green screen work and I do a lot of VFX stuff and I get called for that stuff all the time. But this was so much more exciting because I can actually see, the background and how the light's reacting to it on set. So this was a lot more fun to do it this way. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so essentially we had Sony was like the label attached to this artist, and they basically donated this new XR stage of theirs to shoot the video on, and also the entire Unreal Engine team that built all of the assets for the location and the background. So
Nice.
you were really blessed to have that. Otherwise, this would have never been able to be done. Like, I think the total budget on this project was maybe like $125K, and for what we got, it was like $500,000 to $1 million,
Oh yeah.
job. You know what I mean? For like patient.
Yeah, because everybody was cooperating and excited for it.
Yeah. So they built out the world and all the assets for like 2 weeks, and then we ended up being able to shoot on it. So it was a 1-day job, and then they did pickups in New York. But so what we're looking at here is essentially the screen has a ceiling as well. So
Wow.
this is all, and it's seamless. So I can tilt up and the camera will track that and I'll be able to see everything up there. And then I can also, what was really fun about it lighting wise is I can move the position of the sun. I can darken certain areas. I can, put the sun wherever I want it. I can add the atmosphere. I can even like on the ceiling up there, I actually asked them to create these extra textured ceiling components to break up some of the sky.
Yeah.
So I'm essentially lighting with the screen and then adding any supplemental light I need for the character.
Yeah. So you're only having to light the character, really. I mean,
exactly.
in terms of like what physically is there.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want, you're not lighting a huge area, so you don't want light to be spilling on the screen because then that contaminate shadows on the screen.
Yeah,
the blacks and stuff like that. You want to have your lights pretty controlled and pretty, generally localized on your talent. So let me see real quick, see if I can go. So this is.
It looks so good.
Yeah, so that
it just changed the game so much. Like there's just honestly so much freedom as an artist when you can hear. I think if you go to the column icon up there next to your left, right there, that you can actually get the icons.
There we go. I just want to be able to like scroll through though.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. All right. So let's see. Yeah, you can also do green screen, which is funny on this. Like, this isn't a green, like, we just put up a green box,
okay. Why do green screen if you can change anything you want to in the background anyway?
Yeah. So what we did here, the reason why we had to do this was basically we had to create them basically floating in water and have them move further away from camera, and you can't, we can't put a big water tank in the XR stage and have them do that. So we shot the elements on the green screen, VFX shrinked it, created water underneath the boat, and then moved them along in the frame for one of the shots.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So there's water in the background, but you obviously can't have water where okay, gotcha. That's wow.
Yeah.
That's like that's like another level of complexity.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of my favorite stills.
So pretty.
The biggest thing when you're doing XR to make it feel as real as possible is creating layers in your shot. So like having real components like that shelf behind is a physical object on set, that's separating the foreground from the background, and it integrates, the character into this world a lot more than just shooting them directly on the screen.
Yeah.
So it feels like they're in the environment a little more if you can have this like kind of middle ground and foreground that brings them into it, that's actually practical. And then the only thing
it's kind of using as much practical in the completely generated area.
Yeah, exactly. That helps sell it a lot.
100%.
And then
I mean, you would that completely plays. You would never. I didn't even. That's the thing too. Is like now you never know what's actually real and what's not.
Yeah. You do it well enough. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah.
And I'm manipulating the lighting levels on the background, and then just motivating the light based off of the background there. So it has this kind of fluorescent kind of top feel. And then you're getting this little underglow from if, the lights were pinging off the aluminum table and kicking up into her. So, and then here's another one.
Oh.
This is a really simple one, but again, this little foreground element of the wood stacks and the little bag in the left side of frame just adds, to the realness so much. But this is like fully silhouetted. I didn't add any lighting. It's just the lighting that's on the screen. Here's more examples of using the foreground to kind of blend the world.
Yeah.
This is a boat thing. This one's kind of fun. We put the camera fixed and mounted to the boat. And then we kind of rocked the camera rocked the boat back and forth. So the camera moved with the
and then obviously the background is moving that's
the background's moving to make it seem like they're traveling through this little area.
That costume design is sick too.
Yeah, they killed it on the costume design. It was a really, really good job. This headpiece, I think it took like an hour to put on or something crazy.
That's pretty quick.
They were pretty fast.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, so here's me and the monitor. Yeah, I'm just looking at the light. We got a big 50-foot techno crane.
Listen, anytime there's a techno crane, it's a big techno crane.
Yeah, exactly. It's really essential though for stuff like this where you really need to be able to move around a lot, get different angles, be able to push in, be able to do all these different dynamic cameras. And just for
especially if you're wanting it to be smooth and cinematic, and you're not going after the handheld. It's just such a huge tool because it's a dolly, it's a jib, it's it's everything.
It's also just a tripod, and we use it a lot. Tripod, yeah, because you have all these different static shots you want to cover in a scene, but physically moving the sticks, putting them down, finding the angle, adjusting the height, I can just swing the arm over there and slowly find the height. Really, really particular. So that
it moves the day faster.
Yeah, it moves it way faster. This is another one of my favorite stills from it.
Mm-hmm.
I use a nice little hard light on her to kind of feel like the sun's peeking in through the set. That's one thing with XR that you have to bring in, units for is there's no way of getting hard light from the actual screen because it's all LED
Right.
panels. So a lot of the times you'll bring in, a hard source on a Menace arm or something and use that. There's sun in your actual like background.
Yeah. So how high in that shot, how high up there is the light? This is obviously a pretty wide shot. Is it it's not in frame at all?
Yeah, it was probably like a 16-foot Menace arm or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's probably like 2 or 3 feet above where the screen is showing right now.
Nice.
Yeah, and then it's always good with when you're trying to recreate sun to get the unit as far back as possible so you don't have all of the fall off. If you have a hard light, that's close, it's going to be really, really bright the first 4 feet, and then it's going to gradually fall off, right? So if you have it, at, 20 feet or something, and it's a big enough unit, once it hits the talent, then the light is going to be, the same stop for the next, 10 feet of wherever you're lighting. So that's why the sun, looks the way it looks. It's, it's not super bright, over far away from you. It's the same brightness the entire way because the sun's so far away.
Yeah, because everything is where the light falls.
Yeah. So then this is another one where where you used hard light and like push it through a little branchioloris, which is literally just a little cucoloris that's been cut out with wood, so it feels like she's walking through the trees.
Yeah, works great.
Yeah, that helps sell it. Here's another little behind the scenes picture. So this is like a good example of
the fact that you can do all of that in a day is insane.
Yeah, that's the reason too that people use it, is because you can use all these different locations. You just, with the touch of a button, you're changing your background.
It's different worlds, and you're doing it all with 12 hours to 14. Like, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's really, really cool technology. But this is a good example of using the screen as a light source. So at the top left, you see this white box, right? So that's not actually, I'm not framing that in the shot. It's literally just a box of light that is extending into the set. It's as if I rigged up a softbox up there.
Right.
So I can move around. Yeah. And I'm just like, hey, give me a white box, an 8x4 light box. Boom, done. It's like you can so effortlessly with it. And then again, here's the little rig that we use for foreground to kind of push past the wires. It's crazy because the ceiling looks like we added wires to it, but that's all the screen. Yeah. The only thing we added is this little goalpost of wires here.
How much of these scenes in the background is set design versus you?
Mm-hmm. So on this one, the only thing that's set design is the goalpost of wires, and then there's a black Visqueen trash bag material on the floor, and then there's a little circle that she's laying on.
So you're directing you're directing everything that's on the walls. Hey friends, it's your podcast buddy Noah Midman here, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about one of my passion projects, my clothing brand, Clothing for Creators. Roll the tape. If my life were a movie, the hero's big speech would end with, "Stop waiting, start creating." Because that's the drive behind my story. Like when I couldn't afford to finish film school. So instead, I started my own production company and gave myself a trial by fire YouTube business degree. And it's not just me with these kinds of stories. There is this growing movement of passionate, creative, flow state writing, hustling, persistent creators and entrepreneurs that are taking the internet and the world by storm.
Everybody told me I wasn't going to be able to make any money as an artist. Now, 15 years later, I've worked on 3 continents. I do own my house, my shop, I'm booked out 8 months ahead. I don't subscribe to being a starving artist.
Creativity and I are very deep, dark lovers. I've just decided I'm just going to make stuff. And even if it's not perfect, like, it's getting made.
You're going to think that there's right answers and there's not. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. let's just throw dye on it and it'll look great.
You don't need rules some old guy in a suit made up. You don't need anyone telling you that your voice doesn't matter. We are makers, creative types, side hustlers, doers. Why? Because we get shit done.
The most important thing every single day is just to get your shit done.
Just keep doing it, keep producing, keep creating, and as you do that, you're going to start becoming the person that you want to be.
Don't be scared to try. Commit. You can't half-ass do something. We're full-ass around here.
So there's a film you need to make, a company you need to create, a voice you need to share, a product you know the world needs. Put all of yourself into it until anyone who has ever doubted you starts asking you for a job. Then you get to play for a living. You get to create community, partnerships, collaborations, building bonds with people that like the same stuff you like. You get to live with your heart on your sleeve, a smile on your face, and a solid answer to when anybody asks, why do you do what you do?
Sometimes you have to say fuck all the rules to get something that you really need to get out of yourself.
You don't need the opinion of the old guy in the suit.
You have to give yourself permission to just go. A little less conversation, a little more action.
Clothing for creators. Go check out snowmanfilms.shop today.
Hey there, fellow creatives. Conversations with Creators dives deep into the minds of successful filmmakers, artists, musicians, and all-around awesome people. We are looking for some kick-ass sponsors to help us keep this show on the road. If you want to reach a tribe of dedicated listeners who are just as passionate about creating as you are, then look no further. Our audience is full of people who appreciate a good laugh and are always on the lookout for new ways to fuel their creativity. So, let's team up and create some magic together. We'll work with you to make sure that your brand is showcased in the best light possible. And who knows, maybe we'll even become lifelong friends. Just imagine, years from now, we'll be reminiscing about the good old days when we first teamed up to take the world by storm. Send us an email at noah@snowmanfilms.net to say hey and get the ball rolling. Now back to the episode.
I mean, kind of everything in collaboration with the director, but I'm saying like we should use foreground here.
No, for sure. No, yeah, I got you. I was just saying like of the worlds that you see on screen, like how much input do you have on that, or is that,
Oh, a ton. It definitely, in terms of like the texture of the walls that they, created, like, I think the first iteration of this set, it was a lot more of a glossy kind of wall that they made, and I wanted to make it like a distressed kind of texture and muted.
Nice.
Yeah, and then like the light source, I was able to have input on that. How dark the walls get when they fall off into darkness. So like I'm in,
the quality of light on the walls and stuff. You have a big that makes okay, cool. So I mean, even in that, go back to that like hallway wall or the light coming through the trees.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, so you're designing all the light in the back there too.
Yeah, exactly. When they first sent it to me, I think they had the light coming straight down. So I was like, can we have the sun move over,
Nice.
and have it at an angle? And then can we add a couple more plants in the ceiling so it breaks up the rays?
Yeah.
So originally it was just one volumetric ray of light. And if you look at it closely, there's all these different beams. And that's because it's going a bunch of plants that I asked them to add. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, you're basically playing God.
I was gonna say you're it's like the new like video game show from the Always Sunny guys. Like I create worlds, man.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And it's really that's super cool.
Yeah. So
that's really really nice work.
Thank you, dude. So yeah, hopefully that gives some, and then also with like with stuff like this where we do have more time and more resources, it's just all about communicating to your team, communicating to my lighting department what the goal is, how we're going to run things. Are we what kind of lights are we using? Are we using mostly LED? Are we using tungsten? Are we using HMIs? And for me personally, it's a little more of an old school approach, but I feel like when I first started out, I was very particular about talking to my gaffer about exactly what unit I wanted to have to light the scene. But now, since I've, have relationships with these guys and we've been working together for years, what I mainly do now is I talk about the quality of the light, the direction, and the color of what I want. And then the gaffer is responsible for picking the actual unit that he wants to use,
That makes
picking
sense.
the diffusion that they want. So my job is a lot more about creative and feeling and, do I want it hard? Do I want it soft? Do I want it coming from the left, the right, the back? And then they, technically figure out the best way to do that, and you let them.
And then on set, are you calling out for the specific, like, you still know all the lights and know, what to call for and everything?
Yeah, I'm not even calling for the specific lights anymore. I'm saying, like, let's have a soft side push from here that gets taken off of the floor and also, texturized through, something that breaks up the light.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
you're really talking like creative the whole way, not technical.
Yeah,
which is great.
Just quality of light and direction of light and the color that I want.
And that's definitely just trust over time that, like, they know how to do it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what the gaffer's job is. Like, if you're a DP, you're telling them, oh, I want an M18 coming from the window with half CTO, and I want all this stuff, then essentially you're the gaffer now. He's the best boy. Yeah, he's just going and doing exactly like collaborative experience. So
I've definitely had that experience I've gripped a couple of bigger commercial jobs, and that the DP was definitely more of the technical side of it. It's kind of acting as the gaffer, but it was that's interesting. Yeah, when really you should be just talking about the quality of it.
Exactly. Yeah, you really should just be talking about quality, direction, the level of it, and the color.
Yeah. So talk to me about the difference of we got features. You were talking kind of. So this was one of the bigger projects, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely a bigger, like, the scale of using the XR and having all the camera toys and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the? Do you have any behind the scenes of, like, what a smaller one is, so that that's obviously, like, the goal of what we can all get to, but maybe something some nice work that's on a smaller scale is nice to look at too.
Yeah, for sure. Behind the scenes wise, I'm not sure if I have a ton. We can look at. Let's see here. Let me try and find. I might have some behind.
And how many times have you worked with the LED wall?
Now it's been done 4 jobs on it so far. One was in Istanbul, Turkey, for the Valorant Champion short film, and then I did 2 jobs in LA, and then I just actually was on a pre-production call for I'm shooting Doja Cat's concert visuals for her new tour, and that's all going to be on XR stage.
I was just watching her on Hot Ones today. That's sick, man.
Yeah. So let me see if I can find some behind the scenes of this job here. I can definitely pull up stills, and then
while you're doing that, what are some kind of key considerations that you take into account when you're kind of deciding? Actually, I should say, do you get to make kind of camera and lens choices, or is that director?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Definitely. Most of the directors are asking me, what camera do you feel like this should be shot on, given the look and also the limitations of the camera? Are we doing high frame rate? Are we doing night exterior? We need high ISO, and then for me, it's really more just based off the look. So, I'm definitely suggesting the type of camera I want to use. And then lens wise, we're looking at options, and it always kind of starts with, like, do we want a more clinical commercial look, or do we want like a vintage grudgy look? And so that's like the initial question. And then it's like, okay, do you want, flares that are uncontrolled or flares that are subdued, or do you want a lens that's generally warmer, a lens that's generally colder, or something that resolves facial features more, or something that's a little softer. So
I love that, because it's always the talent's always like, oh, do you have a filter to make me look prettier? It's like, sometimes you kind of.
Yeah, and we do, like some lenses, the old vintage glass is, pretty damn soft. You don't need to put like a Hollywood Magic filter or a Black Pro Mist or something like that, or a classic soft. It's like some vintage lenses already kind of have that built in. But yeah,
That's why they're still around.
Camera and lens choices for sure. Let me see.
That's awesome.
Find. Yeah.
I'm skipping around questions, but I'll get another one going here.
Yeah, keep me going.
Yeah. What's a particularly challenging or memorable project? I should say like memorable, but like because it was kind of in the weeds, that you were able to kind of come up with a creative solution on?
It's a good question. I could talk about like a war story, like
give me a war story. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I was shooting, basically it's the intro that plays before the New Orleans Saints like runs out onto the field. It plays on their big Jumbotron. And we were shooting in New Orleans in like a marsh swamp area, and it was night exteriors, and we had a couple really big lights on some very tall condors, and a lightning storm came.
Oh my God.
Not only did a lightning storm come, the condor decided to not work anymore, and so we could not get my guy off of an 80-foot condor down out of the sky. So yeah, so he's stuck up there with
sitting up there praying.
Sitting up there freaking out, like yelling down to us. The key grip obviously shut the day down because the lightning came too close. So what they had to do was a fire truck had to come and had to cut down multiple branches in order to reach through to get to the guy on it. I think it was like a 120-foot crane or something crazy.
He's 80 feet in the air.
120 feet in the air.
120.
Yeah, and so the fire truck just barely had enough length, and they had to cut down a bunch of branches to get to it, and we had to get them down. So that was wild. I have like videos of it and stuff. Maybe I can find it and send it to you. But the director,
that's a good word story. That's very scary.
So we had to kind of pivot, change a couple of shots, and we made it work. Though the video ended up pretty damn cool, and it was also the other thing about that was really challenging was we had to frame for essentially 9:1 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
So
if it's on a weird shaped LED, like
it's like super short time. 9:1. 9:1.
I mean, other than just like, I feel like facial detail, like how do you actually set a scene like that?
You have to be extremely far away on a very wide lens.
Yeah. The whole thing was a 9:1.
The entire thing was 9:1. Yeah.
So for everybody who doesn't know film terminology, a normal screen is about 16:9, and he's going 9 wide to 1 tall, which is insane.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. We had to create like a custom. I created like a custom, basically,
box
mat. A box on my Artemis app, my phone Artemis app, and I would throw that over it and look at it, and it's like, dude, like you're on an 18 mil, and I want to get a shot of your face. I have to be back like 12 feet.
Yeah,
just to get,
I want to go to a Saints game now to see your work.
Yeah,
do something for the Rockies, or even the Broncos. I mean,
yeah, the Broncos would be.
One of my buddies from film school did their like 3D work, kind of like the countdown, like touchdown or like 3, 2, 1. You know, he did all the animations for that. It was pretty cool.
Nice. So I'm gonna share my screen, but I don't have any behind the scenes that I
That's
can
fine.
find, but I can just talk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just talk through this.
Oh, that's not bad. Nice.
Yeah. So
Those are some.
So this-
Those are some fun camera moves.
yeah, we had fun with this one. This is definitely, this is a way smaller job, but
Yeah.
So the location was the director's house, right? So talking about
Sweet.
using your resources, yep.
Yeah.
Resources,
Absolutely.
what you have, and it was all dressed with things in his house. Thankfully, he has a pretty nice, wife that is very good at dressing their home. So, yeah. So we had, I think we put up the shears was one thing that, like, the only thing they actually bought, but everything else they owned. And client
Is that curtain daylight, or was that something you put in?
Yeah. So that window was north facing, so there was no direct sun coming in, and all I really did was I took 2 sky panels and bounced them into like an 8x8 ultra bounce, just to create, a little more even glow coming through the window, and just to have it maintain the same brightness level throughout the 8-hour day, so yeah, that was, so I think with 2 sky panels out there. I think we had an aperture 1200 doing this hard side light that's coming through. You can see like the shadows on the floor. So that's like our sun key. And then I had I think I had a light mat on a little menace arm that was rigged above just for a little top ambience. And I think that was it. So, this is
super simple.
Yeah, super simple. I had 1 person in lighting. Okay, no big crew. It was me and 1 guy, and I think it took them maybe an hour to set this up, and is 1 setup. So
you got and even for the close-ups, you guys kind of stayed in the same lighting.
Yeah, we did a little things with like some bounces and some I use these CRLS mirror boards a lot. They're like little 1x1 mirrors that have different quality of softness to them and hardness. So like a 1 is like a straight mirror, a 2 is like a little bit softer but very directional.
Yeah, so there's a little bounce on her face. Yeah,
so like that's doing a lot of the little product hits, like being able to see that NZT logo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like I think I did. Yeah, and like under her chin, I did a little floor bounce. So like he had hardwood floors, so I just had the 1200D skipping into the floor, and then glowing up underneath her chin there. And then you can see the little light mat reflection in the top of the headset.
That was
like
great.
A little light mat. And keep the background a little bit darker so she kind of stands out.
There's a lot of kind of really interesting moves. What were you guys using for camera movement on this?
Yeah, so we had just a regular Dana dolly, and we were shooting on my buddy's Alexa Mini, and then we also had a Probe lens.
The Probe lens is the best. I haven't been able to shoot with it yet, but I've been on set with it.
Yeah, it's great. This one's a little bit of a nicer one. This was the Inavision Probe, which is it's actually a T5.6, which is a lot faster than Laowa.
Yeah.
The Laowa.
That's nice. It's not just completely macro.
Yeah, well, in terms of the f-stop, so you don't need a ton more. Yeah, so
Which is
you're
really, I
able
mean, yeah,
to-
that's actually really nice because you can, it's not just this specialty thing that you have to blast the room with.
Yeah, that's always like where it was tricky. It was like you would use the Laowa lens, you'd frame something up. It's so wide that you're seeing the background as well.
Right.
And it gets really, really dark. You blast a bunch of light on your subject, but the background doesn't look anywhere near what it did on the other shots.
Yeah.
So this was a good one to have because, yeah, TV 5.6, you can light to that. With minimal lighting, you don't need
Absolutely.
a huge. But yeah, just like product stuff like this, shaping up your light. If you're gonna use hard light, it looks great, but you want to shape it up and feather it. So like,
yeah,
having this little cut on the top, softening that, just like getting nitty gritty with that, just to focus people's eyes where you want them to look.
That's one thing I've definitely realized with studying lighting a little bit more, and kind of there's been some workshops in Denver, which is great. Is like it's kind of you want it to be broken up through the entire frame or broken up through whatever subject. So slightly lighter, slightly darker, making it interesting to look at. It's like
exactly
it's the whole way.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It just like kind of comes down to human nature and like what is interesting to people's eyes. It's like like variant and like highlights to shadows and like repeating patterns and like like you said, light dark, light dark, light dark, like that looks interesting. And then obviously,
well, that's what makes the skill stand out. That's that's what I love those YouTube videos that are like a novice person on an expensive camera versus with minimal lighting knowledge versus a pro with a cheaper camera that knows how to use light and stuff. It's a big difference.
Yeah. If you've seen a good example of that, if you've seen Olivia Rodrigo's new music video, all shot on the iPhone 15 Pro.
Listen, they're getting good. I mean,
they are.
People always ask me like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting a camera." I'm like, "Well, do you want to spend more than $1,000?" And they're like, "Not really." I'm like, "Use your phone.
Use your phone." Yeah,
that's why you paid. That's why you paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what you put in front of the screen is so much more important than what is actually capturing it. So that you gotta elevate your concepts. You gotta think about, how does your wardrobe tie into your background, and like, picking the right time of day. All that stuff goes into creating a good image. It's not just and that's
well, I mean, this is a prime example. This shot right here, like you have the nice shadow on the left, and then you can see the texture, that comfy texture on the right.
Yep, and then the window. Helps silhouette it.
Right, yeah, exactly. So light, again, what we were talking about. So light on the right, kind of going into the middle, and then dark on the left with the light again on the very left.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It makes it more three-dimensional. It pops out.
Super. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you got about this all day.
Yeah, man. It's been really fun, dude. I
sounds like you're getting some constant work too, which is just amazing.
Yes and no. This strike has definitely affected
sure.
Yeah, I was telling you about that before, but the start of the year, when this strike started, everything kind of fell off. Like nobody wanted to shoot any music videos. Nobody wanted to shoot any commercials. And if they did, it was extremely low budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I sat around for 2 months without any work whatsoever through February and March. Yeah.
That was like COVID
crazy.
for me.
Yeah.
Completely
exactly.
shut me down.
Yep. It was a second COVID essentially. And I had to, really kind of take a look at myself and be like, all right, like, what are you going to do with this time you have right now?
Right. Yeah.
Like what, and how,
what did you get into?
I got into golf, Noah. I got into golf and I love
it. Okay. You know what I got into in COVID?
What?
Disc golf.
Hey, that's awesome.
I got into golf. Have you been keeping up with it?
I go 2 or 3 times a week now, man.
No shit.
Like, yeah.
Here, let's get out of screen shot. I can see your full face.
All right, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
You gotta have. Listen, I mean, that's my thing too. Is like, yes, DPing is physical, but like the level that we were at with parkour is just, it's so like you need to keep yourself moving.
Yeah, and that's what I was missing. I was missing that like physical challenge and like the athletics and also just the mental just the mental challenge that we had in parkour. I was kind of missing that a little bit, pushing myself, and golf is really, it's
quiet. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really gotten all that stuff back. I'm like doing competitions now, so that competitive.
Oh, you're like really playing.
Yeah, I'm like really, really playing. Yeah.
You know what I'm doing now?
What?
Sports wise, I play ice hockey 3 times a week.
Really?
Yeah, non-contact. It's non-contact. There's still, some bumps and stuff, but like we're not fighting each other. But yeah, and I'm one of the youngest people there, which I'm excited about because it means, I'm going to be able to do this. And, there's literally like an over 50 league. There's people that are like in their 70s out there.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm
like sweating my ass off. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so important, like as we get older, to have these kind of side hobbies too, to get, this life experience and get your mind off of work and just have a clear head when you get back into it. Like,
yeah, especially with creative work.
Yeah, exactly. I would get burnt out, and especially when I'm not working, I'm sitting around and like crawling myself into a hole and like, is it me? Is it my fault that I'm not working? Like, why am I not? Just, you're starting to get in your own head, and it's not healthy. So golf is like my therapy, golf is my bar, golf is my gym. So I don't spend money on anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Bar and gym at the same time.
Yeah. That's great. And I've been able to network a lot with people and meet new directors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, golfing is also kind of the thing to do for successful people with off time.
Yeah.
It's
a good networking strategy for sure. But
how many have you gotten any jobs off of a golf day?
Yeah, 100%. I've already
straight up. It works.
Yeah, it works, man. It works. I've grown my network. I've, hired people that I golf with. I've gotten work from people who I golf with. I actually just had a meeting with an agent over at Artistry through a connection of a golf buddy. So
nice. That's and the last question on golf is how good are you with the competition? Are you like climbing the ranks?
Yeah. Do you know like how handicaps work? Do you know?
Not a ton.
Okay. So right now I'm a 6.8 handicap, which basically means on a good day, I'll shoot around 6 over par, which is pretty good. My like lowest score I've ever shot is a 75. So 3 over.
I think I live about the three over par per hole.
Yeah, that's what most people are around there. So after 2 years, I've gotten pretty good, and I won some comp now, and it's
that's epic.
Keeping mentally healthy.
Winning competition is definitely like the next level of just like you play for fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I play for getting better and winning.
The other thing that's been cool, I mean, especially with you being in competition and then me playing hockey, is like, honestly, I love parkour, but there just wasn't that like real competitive kind of vibe to it. It was more just like fun, but like I love being a part of a team, trying to win. Like I missed that from sports when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I did football growing up, and it was the same thing. Like I was very competitive, and parkour kind of took that out of me in a way. And then I tried to do some competitions, and it was just like I felt weird about it. It's like you have this weird stigma about competing.
Well, it's kind of the community too.
Yeah, exactly.
The community is kind of weird about competition. It's getting better. I am excited to see what it's going to do in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even know it was in the Olympics.
Yeah, I think it's coming up. Breakdancing too. Breakdancing is going to be I will actually watch that.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, man. It's been cool to see all the people that we knew in parkour grow into these different avenues. And I feel like a lot of them kind of went in what we do, which is film and video. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like the GOAT, Dano Ilibaka, is now a camera operator.
Yeah,
like
is he still doing the skating stuff?
Yeah,
his behind the scenes clips where he like goes backwards with a Ronin downstairs in skates is just, of course, he's fucking Ilibaka. He can do anything he wants.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. But yeah, he's doing movie operating on movies and television shows.
That's so sick. Have you worked with him at all?
No, I haven't. He does everything in the UK. He's asked me a couple times. He's like, "Yo, if you need, a stunt operator, like, let me know." I'm like, they won't really fly you out, for this stuff, especially because I can do it too. So.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, but the roller skating stuff, there's some like other tools I can use, but I think eventually one day we'll work together on something that would be.
Oh, I'm sure. Just to like make it happen, it'd be a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Has any of your parkour stuff come through and like doing some gimbal ninja stuff on set with like running around?
I mean, in the early days, yeah, and then recently not really. Like, people don't even actually know. Like, a lot of people don't even know that I work with that I used to do that.
Oh yeah.
It always takes back when I tell them, and they're like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, I used to be a parkour guy.
My big one was like, I was on 3 Seasons of Ninja Warrior, and they're like, "What? You're I should
like
what? Videos?" Like, okay.
Yeah, I know it's funny, and people kind of like just put you in one little compartment, and
I like being able to surprise them.
Yeah, but I do have a job coming up actually that is very stunt oriented, and I actually got Travis Wong to come be the stunt coordinator on it.
Oh, he's the GOAT stunt coordinator.
Yeah. So, and I won that job through someone telling them that, this guy he's a great DP, but he also knows stunts, so you should hit him up for it. So,
oh yeah,
I got that job. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I would love to I'd love to combine those two passions and maybe do some stunt unit work on a bigger film one day.
I mean, dude, we got, the era of John Wick is here, and we got more fun stuff happening with stunts, and there's a lot, especially with the I feel like the position that you're in on the DP side of things, that definitely would make sense that it would, some stuff would come up with that.
Yeah. I just saw Jeremy Marinas too, like the other night. He was at Will's thing, and he was like,
"Nice."
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe I can poke him a little bit and try.
Oh yeah. Because I remember, what's the actually kind of rolling out the red carpet for you a little bit? What's kind of some newer stuff out or stuff to come out soon that people should keep an eye out for?
Yeah. So let's see. I actually did like the second iteration of that commercial that I just showed you guys for the NZXT gaming system. We elevated it. We shot it on an LED wall. It's this really cool concept where he's kind of surrounded in this like thunder and lightning world. And that one I'm really excited about. I literally just shot that yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And yep. And then I just did a Timbaland music video that we did a color session on before I hopped on with this. So that was pretty cool. And
you're living the dream, man. You are working at a high level on a lot of fun stuff. Oh my God, the kids are literally yelling. Jesus Christ. Guys, 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, I'm doing some fun stuff. I wish it was, a couple more jobs were rolling in during this strike, but in the meantime, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Taking the job I'm getting and going and golfing. So,
exactly. Worst case, you get really good at that and win some prize money.
Yeah. And then one other thing for people to check it out. It's the feature that I shot in 2021 during COVID. Very, very low indie budget, but I'm super happy with what we were able to make. It's a very watchable film. You're not going to cringe at it. It's hilarious. It's cinematic. It's a fun watch. It's called The Civil Dead. It's out on Amazon Prime. It's on Showtime.
I will be watching that later today.
Yeah, dude.
The Civil Dead.
The Civil Dead.
That's a funny name.
It's a it's a paranormal comedy. Like if Dumb and Dumber was one of the guys with a ghost.
That's a great pitch.
Yeah.
That's a great pitch.
Yeah.
Go
Now, it's
not
like
only go watch that, but go rate it 5 stars and give Josh some love on it.
Yeah. It's doing great on Letterboxd. It's like it got a cult following on that, and then
hell yeah,
one Slam Dan, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, man, that's it. If you want to follow me on socials, it's Josh Hill _DP, and yeah, I'll be posting post all my work on there, so you can stay.
Go check him out. Go give him a follow and follow along with the super fun work. That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being on this, dude. It's been great catching up and geeking out a little bit with you on set stuff.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. Thanks for having me, Noah.
Absolutely. And for everybody listening and hopefully watching this one, watch this for your sake. You won't regret it. I will see you next time.